Thank you, Michelle. When I speak, I like to introduce myself in the language, Anishinaabe Moen. And those that have heard me speak before, I always make recognition that is the oldest spoken language in our region, in our area, in a land base that we now call the state of Michigan. Anishinaabe Moen is the spoken language of the Three Fires people, the Ottawa, Ojibwe, Minowa, Potawatomi, the Three Fires nations. Ani, Nimkianko Nadishnakas, Makade, Maingodem Awe, Odawa Anishinaabe, Minowa, Norwegian, Anine, Lino County, Nadoljaba, NMEAC, threw that in there, Nugwechka Bijak Mampi. A lot of times when I speak, I just leave it at that, but I want to say what that is, so there's an understanding in English, in respect to understanding. I said Ani, which is hello. So I want to ask for it to come back with Ani. Ani. Okay, thank you. I said Nimki Anko Nadishnakas. My English name is Derek Bailey. And Michelle introduced and said Ogama. In our language, Ogama could be interpreted as leader. My spirit, Anishinaabe name, I was named by a Little Traverse Bay Band elder, Mr. Joe John, who has walked on. And it was quite an opportunity for me as a young person in my early 20s to start to recognize the spiritual connection that we have and carry as people, as human beings. I spent about 2 hours with Mr. John. He was blind. He spoke fluent Anishinaabe Moen, Odawa dialect. He said, okay, I'll let you know. Okay. So I waited, and he finally gave me a call. Said, I'm ready. Had a naming ceremony, and the name that he gave to me was Nimki Ankwit, which in Odawa is thundercloud. Being named after a young person that I didn't know, of course, years before. But at the early 20s, this elder of the Little Traverse Bay Band Odawa Indians had enough recognition, understanding, and connection when offering those prayers to name me after Nimki Ankwit for a young man who had speaking abilities. So I've cherished that, and I've worked hard, on being able to come and present and talk and hopefully convey a message that's understood across boundaries and not be limited in that. I also said, Makade, Maingodem Awe. We are a clan. We have clans in our system, kind of like cousins. I'm from the Black Wolf clan. Our clans are passed down through our fathers. We're patrilineal. Then I said, Odawa Anishinaabe. In European translation today, you hear Ottawa, and you hear Chippewa, and Potawatomi. There was a letter written in the Northern Express recently by, I believe, a non-native, and they said that Odawa is actually a French way of saying Ottawa. That's not true. Ottawa is a European translation for Odawa, or Odawa. Then I said Minowa, that's and I said Norwegian. Ottawa, Odawa, or Norwegian, Nene, man. My father's Odawa and my mother's Norwegian, and she comes from the Frankfurt Honor, so Benzie County area. So those from Benzie County, if you know any of the Baileys there, well, I'm at home. And then the Anderson family, that's my mother's maiden name. And then I said, Migochka Bijak Mampi, thank you for having me here. And I don't say that lightly. I'm very honored when I look in the room tonight, and I know a lot of individuals here, and to see elders. Elders are not just limited to our tribal communities. There are elders in this room, not defined by age, but by life experiences and what they offer to all of us. So those elders that are here, Kachimi Gwech, which means thank you very much for leading the way. I walked in and I had a couple people say, boy, I'm glad you're here, Derek. And maybe there's a little association with the upbeat, a little jokes here and there, but I'm very conflicted tonight. I am very big on our history, on leadership. So I have recognition to Francis Bailey, a signatory from the Grand River Band of Ottawa, on the 1836 Treaty of Washington, Treaty of 1836, in which 37% of what we now call the state of Michigan, 13 million acres, over 13 million acres ceded So in 1837, Michigan became a state. I recognize that NMEAC was started in 1980. The Grand Sheriff's Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians was federally reaffirmed on May 27, 1980. This evening, this is where the confliction comes in. One of our past council members, leaders of our nation, is beginning her journey. So my thoughts and prayers are with her and her family tonight. So if I don't have the enthusiasm that most hear me when I spoke before, I apologize, but I'm honoring her. I'm also a little tired. 5 hours in the last 48 hours, sleep time. I said, well, okay, NMEAC has her big event Friday night, pictures about environment, keynote speaker. What can I do to honor that? Well, I went and bought a motorcycle Thursday. I told my beautiful wife and to the wives here after I bought it, honey, I have to do this for NMEAC. She's not here tonight, but we're working on that now. An old Indian teaching was it's better to ask forgiveness. It is a great bike. But I'm here tonight, very honored, very appreciative. I do want to recognize individuals, though, before I speak, for the work efforts that we do in our communities. The President and General Manager of the Grand Sheriff's Resort and Spa, Mr. Donald Panaya. Sir, could you please stand for a moment? Since taking the helms of the Grand Sheriff's Resort and Spa, Donald has built upon and has increased our work and efforts on the green initiatives. Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel, our past marketing director, Sean Carlson, is here. We worked hard on promoting awareness and educational piece, and we took great pride in receiving the award for one of the first tribal casinos to have green initiatives and also components to the architecture and sustainability for that property. Doing our part, gaming facility, but still trying to do our part. 15 minutes to 20 minutes is not a lot of time to try to put a lot of information in. And I do like question and answers, and I told Michelle, if that's okay, I would like to entertain a couple questions when I'm done, if the audience would so chooses. We mentioned the 1836 treaty. March 28th of this year marked the 175th anniversary of the Treaty of Washington. Some people on Facebook, when I posted that, said, hey, congratulations. Others said, perhaps we need to look at that differently. But I think today, if we were to go back and look at our relationships that existed and where we are today in 2011, if you can, let's go back 30, 40 years. Let's go back to 1970 when Bill Rastetter's hair was darker. The waters that surround us, West Bay, East Bay, specifically West Bay, what was occurring in relationships? In the exercising of our treaty rights through the Treaty of 1836, over 13 million acres of land ceded. Our tribal fishermen, in exercising their treaty right, were being what? Shot at. So today, why is it important and being recognized as I did through Michelle's introduction of building relationships? We can't forget our history that we share, but we can sure work together to create our legacy. And in this walk in life, as we set the stage for our children, our children's children, a lot of people have heard about the 7-generation teachings. If you haven't heard that real quickly, there's two ways I look at it. One, the decisions that we make today, the actions that we do today. Ellis with his no fracking. The actions that is done today, we have to consider 7 generations down the road. Very difficult. Have to consider 7 generations down the road. Another way that I like to look at it, because 7 generations is very difficult for me, is 3 generations to the past. What were they thinking? 3 generations to the future with respect to where we're at today. That's legacy. That's the circle of life. And those four components, those four directions, the eastern, southern, western, and northern. We have four sacred medicines. Malingimi, Sema, tobacco, from the eastern direction. From the southern direction, Gijik, cedar. The western direction, Washkadewash, sage. You know, I'm glad that there's room. I don't think is there anyone with a language. I could say anything, couldn't I? No one's going to call me out. I like that. There's a joke that you can go and you can do your introduction. You can just count to 10. Oh, man, wow. And then from the northern direction, wisdom, that circle of life. A lot of the elders here show that with their hair. That's nothing to look down upon. That's something to embrace. That's wisdom. That's that northern direction. That's our elders. Weengush, sweetgrass, comes from there. That sweetgrass is the hair of Mother Earth. That's why our people braid the sweetgrass. You're braiding Mother Earth's hair. Mishkike Aki, Mother Earth. What we do today, honoring that with this Sema, going out on the waters fishing. Today, in 2011, a practice is done that the Anishinaabe have been doing for years, centuries. Putting that Sema on the water. Hans, Van Summer, I went to your class, took the students out there and talked about a spiritual component. That water is not just a beautiful bay. That's an essence. That's a spirit. That's something to respect. The lifeblood of Mother Earth. Put it down in the water. Protection. We're taking something. If we go fishing, what are you doing? Or hunting? You're taking something from Mother Earth. This is not to be looked at as a religion, but just a teachings that we have and a way of thinking and perceiving, and not to get lost in our modern world. Some people know I love technology. On that iPhone all the time. But we cannot have a disconnect from our ancestors and who we were. Yahweh, who we are. That's our museum also, our name of our museum. Yahweh, who we are. Now those future leaders, we say in our language, Wabno Gamak. Our legacy, what we do today, brings that for future generations. The spiritual strength of our ancestors, we say, resides within the hearts of our children. The spiritual strength of our ancestors resides within the hearts of our children. How powerful is that? I'm a father of 5. My wife and I have 5 beautiful children, 3 sons and 2 daughters. And Benika, Nimkis, Danis, Losau, Kihil, and Maingan. Mr. Sean had a couple of my daughters in his class. I believe, though, he recognized the role of his place. If we start to recognize the role of each of our place in our children's lives, and there's that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I think it's from Australia. But that's an indigenous concept that's shared over here. It takes a village to raise a child. We become isolated. We rely just within our own home, the nuclear family. The Anishinaabe Native communities are extended. You see uncles and aunties. Uncle Donald has a place in our children's lives. Teachings that he has. He has a wonderful life story of coming to America. Not the Eddie Murphy one. All right, I'm trying. But his story of what he came to in the United States of America for that dream, that aspiration. All of us have those teachings we can share. If I can end, before again for question and answers, I want to talk about legacy. Legacy. And I said it before, but I want to say it to this room. What type of ancestor will we be? My seat is up on May of 2012. I'm going to keep saying that until I leave office. What type of ancestor will we be? That's a powerful legacy of what we do, who we are, and number 3, why we continue. Do not give up. Do not lose hope in that understanding that we have to come together. Again, interrelationships, the Grand Traverse Band, other organizations working together. You know, that embodies for me, that message that we need to take forward. And we need to take forward not just locally, but the state and the national scene. We have too much divisiveness. I'm not going to get political here. We have too much divisiveness. A simple matter with Asian carp is right in front of us. It's not a 5-year study, 18-month study. The action that's required is immediate, with permanent thought and resolution for what needs to occur. Shut the locks down. Now, Josh, don't run off, because you're going to be part of my humor here in a minute. I'm going to get you, because you got me tonight. May 6th, Bill?
5th.
May 5th, oral arguments on the appeal, on the preliminary injunction ruling that was happened and occurred in December, in the month of December 2010. The Grand Traverse ban, I said it today, I was out in D.C., I said it today to representatives from Levin and Stabenow's office, in a non-arrogant way, but a universal promotion. Start recognizing the Grand Traverse ban's action on Asian carp. Why? The 5 states that brought the lawsuit forward have a strong argument, a passionate argument. But they have an argument that can't be presented like that of a tribal nation. Michelle opened up with it. She took 3 minutes out of my speech. The reserved rights and the trustee responsibility of the United States Army Corps of Engineers is outlined, is prescribed for the protection, the preservation, enhancement of the vast portions of the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Superior. That argument is stronger when a tribal nation, a tribal voice, a tribal representative can stand up and speak ancestrally and for our future. Shut the locks down. Save our Great Lakes from an invasive species of the 185, 186. This could be and will be the most devastating. It's not if, it's how many are already in our waters. eDNA gets there somehow. I have never said if, how many. Since Josh is back, I'm going to wrap up here. You know, what you do is very important in life, who you affect and impact. And I got greeted. You know, I'm getting older. I was the youngest chairman. I'm kind of losing that title now. People don't care. A lot of meetings. I got a little belly. The kids call me Double Chin Dad. So Mr. Basketball himself. Hey, Derek, look it. Remember back in 1991? And right here, playing basketball, is a young person. Loved the game. You never knew that I touched just a few years older, because in 1994, Josh was all area. So Josh, there he is, himself. Thank you for that memory. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. So our children demand that we be the role models, the leaders, and we show them how you work together. Quit the divisiveness. Work together. Our language, Kachimigwech. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here tonight. Thank you for having me in such a respectable audience with so much wisdom that it'd be just tremendous if it could all get put into a book or a story was told. We have a big night tonight. I'm very honored to be part of it. If there's any questions, if not, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share tonight. Thank you.